This is Paul, Dr. Nacho Goodman. I'm the owner of 2 dental practices, also the founder of Dental Nachos and Dentist Jobs Connect. I love this exercise by Michael Arias. Awesome job. One of the things that will guide me in 2025 is remembering, reinforcing how important it is to have redundancy, another R word, with your team members. Life happens when you're making other treatment plans, and dental practices and businesses are so vulnerable by not having a bench of team members that can step in and fulfill roles, whether it's the lead dental assistant for a surgical prosthodontist, or it is a success coordinator in your business. So I want to focus on making sure I am always in a hiring mode, always able to build my bench, always knowing good people who can help me. It doesn't mean they need to be hired tomorrow, but just ABC, always be connecting. And I want to change that to ABH, always be hiring, always be looking for new talent. What we do is so complex as dental practice owners, and things have happened in 2024 that have left my practices vulnerable, left them stressed. And I want to commit to always be hiring, always be looking for new talent. It's not easy to do in the midst of getting through your day-to-day, but it's so important to the long-term success and sanity of your business, your dental practice, and you.
Maggie Augustyn, Happy Tooth, Elmhurst, Illinois. This is a lesson that we keep learning every single year. And I am wondering, and actually I am praying that this year the lesson sticks. And the lesson is that no matter how much we plan and plan over and recheck the plans that we make for both our personal life and our practice life, they don't always end up coming to fruition the way that we had hoped. And life, no matter which perspective we take, and no matter which way we look at it, and no matter whether it's our personal or professional life, will continue to change and evolve. And we must learn to accept those changes, and we must be able to pivot with those changes. Truth be told, some of those changes, despite not being planned for, end up truthfully becoming our greatest blessings. And I think that's what I look forward to the most next year.
So a key lesson from this year that will guide me in 2025 in my personal and professional life is the concept of focus. So I think now more than ever, I have clarity in terms of what I want to do and what I like to do. And after having a new addition to our family this year, our daughter, she is 8 months old. I'm focused as a dad to be the best version of myself, to have better boundaries with work and home life, and with my business, and supporting doctors learn about and implement clear aligners in their practices. I am very clear on what I need to do. And one of those things is to be able to continue to support the ones who are currently in the program and to stay consistent with my messaging to be sure that I'm getting in front of the doctors who are looking for this program as a solution. So that is what I'm taking into 2025. And I hope you will do the same, because focus is key for anything that you do.
A key takeaway that I learned a bit from in 2024 that I really want to lean into in 2025 is marketing in terms of community building and almost pulling back a little bit from that technical branding. So what I mean by that is technical branding in terms of a perfectly curated Instagram feed with colors that all flow together, and it looks like it's almost been arranged, having a beautiful background for every single reel, things like that. And leaning into building a real sense of community. And what I mean by that is really blurring the lines between my personal life and my business life. When you think about it, dentistry really is a personal business. We work really up close with our patients, especially me as a cosmetic dentist. I am getting to know them really well. And in turn, they get to know me fairly well also. And I want them to be choosing me because they trust me, they like my work, but they also like who I am as a person. And this is something that was brought up to me by some of my patients that came into my practice this year. They said that one of them said a friend had recommended to me, one had just seen my business page on social media, and both of them noticed that my personal page was set public. And so they started watching who I was, what I do, and that's what really got them to come in, because they saw that we connected on certain things besides the fact that they liked the dentistry that I did. And it made them trust me because I was showcasing who I was. And not only did we say have a friend in common, we also had yoga in common. They could hear me talk through stories and things like that I'm more likely to do on my personal page. And they already felt like we had connected on that trust level. And when we came in, I felt that trust already. And it made our first appointment go so well. So for me, what that's going to look like going forward is keeping up my business page, keeping it there so that people can find it at least. But really, in terms of building my community, focusing on that through my personal page, doing a lot more on stories, doing a lot more that's uncurated, just showing who I am, but also showing a lot of dentistry on my personal page, which I haven't done in the past, actually. Something that I've changed maybe in the last 2 or 3 months, where I'm actually sharing some of my before and afters, which I never used to do. I used to be so terrified that my friends would be annoyed and that they didn't want to look at teeth. And some of them don't, and I'll show up less often in their feeds. But for those who do, it reminds them, hey, my friend Brittany, she's a dentist. She can help you. And they're more likely to talk you up to their coworkers, their friends, things like that. So I'm making that little shift in 2025, and I'm really excited to just be able to show up as who I am all the time instead of arrange and make sure my makeup looks good, my hair looks good, the background looks good. It's so much less energy, and I think it also shows up much more authentically.
Hi there, it's Dr. Fern White here from Beacon Cove Dental, Port Melbourne in Australia. Now, after 21 years of being a dentist and 15 years now of practice ownership, I would have to say that the most important thing that you can invest in your practice, in your business, is yourself. As the CEO, as the owner, hopefully you're the owner and not the operator. So obviously it's so important to make sure that you're upskilled as a clinician and on top of all the technology and all the amazing things that are coming your way in the world of dentistry. But it is more important to step into leadership by practicing what you preach, by actually spending time upgrading yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, so that you can have vitality, have energy, but also move away from the doing, and allow yourself to flow and be in nature and just to rest your brain away from those beta brainwaves and allow expansion and creativity where the new ideas come through. So really it's important to put yourself first and focus on some things every single day. The small incremental things that you put away will be the best for you. So you are your best investment.
Hi, this is Dr. Kyle Stanley, and my advice for the coming year would be to focus on your mental and relational health. I think so many doctors put all their focus on their patients, and that sounds very just and it sounds very virtuous, but if you treat patients or if you run a practice, you know that if you're not in a good state of mind, you're not doing your best. You're not efficient, you're not performing well, if you're tired, if you're going through depression or anxiety. So as the plane goes down, remember they say, put your own oxygen mask on first. And sometimes we need to do that. It's not selfish, it's actually selfless. So when you're in a good place, you can lead your team, you can treat your patients better, you can be there for your family. And that is my biggest takeaway from the last few years. And that's why I think it's become one of my main focuses on teaching other doctors now. Thank you very much.
This is Dr. Milka from Positive Pediatric Dentistry. And looking back at the year, something I'm taking away and I wish I would have done a better job of, but I still hope to implement into next year is really just celebrating each of the milestones of the startup journey. There's so many things that go on and we worry about the next thing and the next KPI and the next way to improve collections and the next way to improve our marketing and how can we do more. But being more present in the now and celebrating the now and being more grateful in the now is something that I hope to implement starting now and taking further. So hope everyone had a great year.
Hi, my name is Kira Dent, and I am the owner and founder of the Dental A-Team Consulting. And something that I notice as we head into 2025 of key lessons that I learned personally, but also from working with hundreds of offices across the nation, I think we're in this new era of how we live and how we do our lives. And so really a lot of our offices this year, it was making sure that our practices are set up to fulfill our personal lives to make sure that we're forecasting this year going into 2025 of what vacations am I going to take to spend that time with my family? What things do I need to do for my body and for my health to make sure that I am my best self for my practice? And it's been interesting because as we've consulted hundreds of these offices and talked to these doctors, when they start to shift to put themselves first, to make sure that their lives are there, and then they're able to build their goals around what days off are we going to take? What vacations are we going to build in? What provider goals do we need to set? The practice actually comes together in an incredible way. And so really, really, really taking that into 2025 of you need to have your practice set up to serve you, to serve your life. You took the risk. You went in, you built a practice. And if that practice is not serving you and allowing you to live that fulfilled, highest level life with your family, with your friends, with your personal self, what are we doing and what do we need to change? And so really thinking about the doctors that have done this year successfully, who are building their leadership teams, who are helping them to grow into this new area, I think is something really important to take. And I know that might sound a little woo-woo. It might feel like, are you kidding me? But this year, personally, for myself, I actually had a complete and total life breakdown in the end of June. And I took a month off in July for personal health reasons. And it was crazy because I felt like I actually had a forced reset of what are my priorities? What are the things that really matter to me? And I realized in that time that life is my passion and dentistry is my platform. And thinking about what are the lives that I'm helping the doctors that we coach and what are the goals and ambitions that they want, and are they really living this fulfilled life and doing that at their highest self to be able to then serve at the highest level of dentistry. And when I was able to get that 30,000 foot view of my own personal life, it was crazy how much came into perspective. It was crazy to realize how much I was exhausting rather than replenishing. When I started going to the gym again, and when I started going to therapy, and when I started spending time with friends and family, when I started doing hobbies that fulfill me, I started to become a better CEO. And I watched hundreds of offices do the same thing. And so I really think as we head into 2025, set your intentions of the practice and the life that you want to have. And let's make sure that practice is fortifying you, is growing you, is driving you. And it's something where I'm so excited because we're bringing dentists together in person next year to be able to share their tips of how they're doing this successfully. We're bringing leadership teams together to be able to help those doctors thrive and not just survive. I think a great quote from Tony Robbins is, "Success without fulfillment is the greatest failure." And you can have all the money in the world, you can have the production, you can have the things, but if you're not fulfilled and happy and healthy and having those incredible life relationships, what are we really doing here? As you head into 2025, we're not just going to survive in 2025, but we're actually going to thrive. And that's something I'm just so excited about with our online and our virtual consulting at Dental A Team and helping you have that dream life with ease, helping you have that practice that grows you. So thinking of my own life, this year it's building my own personal life, making sure I've got the time for the things that fuel me and inspire me so that way I can show up and be my best self. And I would encourage you to do the same.